Hey, Mr. Orhan,
Good morning.
how are you?
I'm doing well. Candy, how are you doing?
Doing just fine. I'm doing a few housekeeping things and then I'll be right on with you and we will get started.
Thank you so much.
There we go. All right. So I was saying I don't have the best of lighting where I am, so I'm going to make the best of it. I did all the things they told me to do. None of that's working, but hey, in
We're at a
business, we just
pandemic.
keep
It's
moving.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. We normally have I think this Wednesday is like it's July the 8th. Like where's the rest of the year? I mean,
I
I
know.
just can't believe it. I had so many clients that said, "Oh, I got time now that they've extended the deadline to July 15th for the taxes," and
Right.
now everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's next week."
No, no, really next week. That's not that
Really?
far away. Yes.
Yes, yes, it has been crazy. I am so surprised how fast this year is passing. I'm glad it's passing fast, you know. Been a lot going on in 2020.
Just a
Uh,
little bit.
yeah, just a little
Just
bit.
just a
Uh,
little bit.
just a little bit. So we the way we normally do it, I'll start off with a mystery question.
All right.
You answer the mystery question, and then thereafter we'll get into the proper introduction. I'll read your nice bio that you had. It was
Oh,
so well written.
you don't need to waste time on that. Just you don't have to do all that. I'll do a little bio thing. We don't need to.
No,
We'll use
we really have
time
to.
wisely with them.
We really have to read the bio. You know, we got to be all formal and
That's
fancy.
fine.
So, but you know, I like yours because it was short and simple. So I guess that could kind of start on the marketing because I've gone places and the bio is so long. You're
Oh,
like,
I've sat there. I'm like, really? I'm sitting
yeah,
here
like
listening
you're
to three
trying to
pages.
wake up.
That's a different thing when it's an honor ceremony or you're honoring somebody. Oh yeah, it's racial justice, social justice. I want to hear all about it, but not to learn how to use Wix. I mean,
Wow. So, I've never heard it put like that, an honor ceremony, because I was always thinking the bios for some people are so long, like it's their eulogy or something. You know, I felt
yeah,
like,
that's it. I'm
like
not here to eulogize you. I'm here just to learn something from you and just okay. Obviously, I'm going to assume that you have some credibility because this person hired you or got you to come in. I don't need to read all that. That's all.
right, right. So basically, a bio should be a short, quick to the point when you're being
Yeah,
introduced to teach
that's it.
versus when you're being
Eulogize.
eulogized.
I want it
Yeah,
long. I want it said. I want hours of eulogy for me.
I know, right?
Not today.
I want the rolling in the floor. I
I do.
mean, I
I want
want to
the
take
ups
up.
and the downs. I want
Yeah,
the
I want eight
comments.
hours on CNN. I want the work. And I told my
8
husband if I
hours.
go before him, I want him jumping in the casket. I mean,
Oh,
I want to.
absolutely, absolutely.
I
I
want the
love
whole.
that. 8 hours on CNN. That's my new phrase. I want eight
Yes,
hours
yes, yes, yes,
even on
yes.
YouTube.
Yes, I want the work. I'm gonna tell our listening audience a few things, and then we'll get started. So
All
I
right.
want to thank everyone for tuning in on today. This is Ask the Expert. We started this back in April, not realizing that it was going to take off the way that it did. We kind of put this together to get some information out to our audience, and the idea came about that we wanted to get experts on that our community normally wouldn't hear from. And what I mean by community, that means your small business owner, your stay-at-home mom, your working hard dad, who normally wouldn't be in a corporate setting, just meeting with people. So we wanted to make sure that everyone had an equal opportunity to come on and take advantage of the information. So and it just kind of, I thank you for taking the time to come on and just to share some information with my audience. And so if you give me just 1 second, I am getting like, my phone kept buzzing because several people saying that they didn't get the link. And so I want to make sure that I don't have it on block. Like I told everybody, I know enough about technology to know how to get in trouble.
Yeah. My daddy used to tell me that all the time, except he used a different word than get in trouble, but I won't do that on time.
I can kind of imagine.
You can guess
And
what word.
so and we're actually, if you're out there in our audience, we're actually looking for some IT reps to come on and educate us. That has been a field, I know this is kind of a sidebar, but that's kind of a field that I've been hard to find some representatives. And I know that they're out there, they're all probably super busy trying to get people connected with the stay home and the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so it's been hard for me to find a female one, was like, and I haven't found one at all. And so then we go to the males and they're all busy. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start calling some of these teenagers because a lot of us that are using Zoom now, we're kind of thrust into it.
Right.
I've been using it for years. Right. And my clients wouldn't embrace technology. Right. So the pandemic did me a favor.
It really did. It really did. I mean, even with us and it being more efficient with meetings. I mean, I love meeting with people, but you can get so many more things met with by
right.
doing it,
Right. There's so much more that you can do when you have the technology, and so and faster. I have a good friend that always says when he presses his button, it sends as fast as a 12-year-old. So he's loving that idea. So I'm going to share my screen for a second. And all right, so and are you doing a presentation today, or how you
have a few slides? I'm gonna have to cruise through it pretty quickly. It's 10 things that businesses can do. I'll do them pretty quickly, but then I'll also make them available as a PDF file that you can send out to the people that registered, and that way they'll have detailed copy of it. So.
Yeah, great. Awesome. So hang on 1 second for me. I am going to get us up and running. All right. And I did I kind of pride myself on how I did the presentation. I said, oh, that looks good.
Yeah. Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, if I can get it to the full screen. So, okay, so give me a second. I am going to time off for just a second. I'm going to make sure that I let everybody in. That I have people in the waiting room, so let me let them in. So I'm not sure. This is the first time that we've only had just me and the presenter on that. So I'm gonna text everybody back and make sure that they are on. But we're gonna go ahead and get rocking and rolling. We're not gonna prolong the time.
We got this.
All
Got
right.
our own show. We do our own show.
Right. You're like, okay, I can only multitask for so long. So is there such a thing as multitasking? You know, that's the great debate, you know.
No, there's not. There's not. We think we can. We think we can, but the brain only does one thing in a moment. So
Yes, our first argument. I totally disagree. I don't know
the
why.
brain can multitask.
Yeah, I think so. So you're basically saying that in that instant, our brains are only doing that one thing.
In that very moment, in that second. Now it can be a second thing, because the brain is pretty magnificent. But if you really think about it, in that moment, I can only do one thing, like in that present moment. Now I can do 10 of them all lined up together, but.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, I got quite a few people for some reason.
We'll do another. We can do another Ask the Expert on brain power. But we'd have to
Yes,
somebody
yes,
else
yes,
about me.
yes. Let's do that. So you have to come back and
Oh yeah, yes.
You have to come back. You have to come back in, I think so maybe September.
Okay.
In the fall when the season changes, we'll have you come back. And maybe by then you'll agree with me. I don't know.
I'll do a mindfulness presentation, and there we can see exactly how the brain works.
Right.
I recognize one of these names, Jonathan Palmisano. Hello, Mr. Jonathan.
Right. Okay. Hey. So all right. So yeah, some of the so let me just kind of tell everybody how I met Mr. Orhan before I read his lovely and true bio. But let me tell you guys how I met him. Mr. Orhan is one of our advisors through the Scale Up LED partnership roundtable. I mean, you guys got like 5 or 6 different names, right? Because we all met from different walks of life, different programs, and it's all through the Urban League. So he's one of the advisors, and he came in and he was such a breath of fresh air. He wasn't boring. It's almost like, oh my God, I got to go to this meeting and listen to this person talk. But he came in, he was a ball of fire, he had us laughing, broke the ice. I said, okay, cool, I like this guy. And he told us some stories, and we was like, oh my God, I just went through that. So he made himself relatable to us, and he didn't seem so far-fetched and so above us. He actually gave us some real life advice, and I truly appreciated that he allowed us to, even though we kept everything professional and made sure we did what we were supposed to do and got what we needed, he also let us know that, hey, business owners are human. He reminded us of that so many times, like, guys, y'all are human. And so and Mr. Orhan, I kind of took to him. I kind of stick my chest out when I said, oh, my business coach, my business advisor, Mr. Orhan McMillan, so hey, I got it in there. So he is on my list of favorite people. And so I'm gonna read his nice bio, and then we will proceed, and he's gonna do a short presentation for us. And then thereafter we'll do some Q&A. And don't think you're getting off, Mr. Orhan. I gotta get that mystery question pulled. So
all right. Let's do the mystery question.
Yeah, so don't worry, I'm gonna still get it.
All
right, so let me read your bio. I can move this out the way. A native of Baton Rouge, Orhan McMillan believes in the power of intentional, purposeful connection for the betterment of all. He is the founder and managing partner of Design Interactive, a local branding, web development, and marketing company entering into its 20th year in business. Congratulations. Assisting small businesses in the achievement of their goals and realization of their dreams. Is a major source of inspiration and reward for he and his team. In 2014, he founded Mindfulness Living, a community created for men by men, offering a space to talk confidentially about subjects specific to men. while offering solutions and transforms one's life personally and professionally using a proven mindfulness practice, which he's going to come back and give us a short teaching on mindfulness.
Yes.
Orhan has also launched in his personal brand company in 2020 titled Simply OM. With OM, he brings together years of experience in teaching, facilitating, and strategizing with individuals and businesses by offering services including coaching, training, facilitating, and strategic planning. Orhan understands on a fundamental level that by empowering every individual that he can in the realization and clarity of their vision, create a more just community for all, changing life for the good. So we are going to welcome Mr. Orhan to our platform, and he is going to give us a quick tutorial, quick presentation. And so now you can share, you should be able to share your screen.
All right. Thank you so much, Candy. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it very much. I'm so thankful for us having met through the Urban League and through the peer-to-peer roundtable, and that expanded my friendship and connection so much with so many great people. And so I'm just thankful for that, and I'm thankful that you're doing this as a resource for individuals to be able to connect with individuals. Expert, I'll go with the loose word of that, but it's fine. But yes, able to connect people in your audience and in your sphere of influence with other people to learn things. And that's a wonderful thing. And so I'm so thankful to be a part of that. And so, that's, it's interesting what we're going to talk about a little bit today is what's going on. So as you were talking, I got a push notification from NPR saying that the US now reports more than 3 million coronavirus cases. That was a matter of minutes ago that came out. And so that's what we're here talking about today. We see the data, we see the numbers as they continue to increase in our communities and our states and in our country. And for us as business owners, how do we manage that? What we've been asked, what has been asked of us to do has been monumental in pivoting and working from home. And my utmost respect for parents that have had to figure out how to bring their children into homes and still work and manage all of that. And now, I was talking to a good friend of mine that's an educator. Next year, they're looking at not doing schools in East Baton Rouge Parish. So that's another full year that now parents are going to have to figure out how to make this work. And so, it's amazing. It's I can't even imagine the stress levels that has caused, on top of some of the good stuff. So specifically today, I do want to talk about, marketing, things that we can do and marketing for businesses today, right? And so I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly. It's 10 things that I kind of came up with that we can do. As I mentioned to you, Candy, I'll make these PDF available for you that you can send out to those that register, to anybody that contacts you. And so that way you can just kind of sit back and think about it and just kind of absorb it and not worry about the notes, et cetera, because I'll be able to get those. Can you see my screen, Candy?
Let's see, not as of yet. Let me see. Let me stop sharing my screen, and that'll make it easier. Yeah, now I can. Great.
You can see the
Yes,
Designs Interactive logo and everything. All right.
Yes.
All right. We enough of me. My big mug shot. Let's see. So what we can do? So 10 things. All right. So we're going to talk about 10 things that we can do. Number one, honestly, as I was kind of thinking about this, safety. I think the most important thing to communicate with our audience and with our customers and potential customers is that we recognize that safety is the number one priority. People have different opinions about COVID-19. I understand that. No matter what the personal opinion is about it, I still ultimately believe that sending a message of safety is the most important thing. So when I do that, I'm talking about that through your communications and letting people know that safety is the number one priority for you, for your staff, for your customers, et cetera, and how you're going to be able to manage that and let them know. So if you're a retail environment, signs, posters, we understand the safe distancing, we've kind of got all that, but just make sure, as I've gone into retail establishments over the last couple of weeks, I got to say, I'm so much more at ease with the ones that have so much signage everywhere. It's letting me know, it gives me a sense of security that they're really looking out for things. One of the greatest experiences I've had COVID-19 was going to Trader Joe's. I'd never experienced such attentiveness, attention to detail, attention to cleanliness, attention to safe distancing, et cetera. And so that was kind of really an inspiration for me to be able to message that with my clients and stuff. So how do we let them know? We do signs and posters if you're a physical location, update web pages, sending out email blasts, social media, consistently messaging that, hey, safety is number one priority for our staff, for you, for other people. Yes, so that, I think that's the most important thing out of all this is if you're going to be messaging, let them know that you understand safety and it's important to you. So one thing we know is that more people are online now more than ever. We have more of an audience online. So let's utilize that. Let's leverage that ability to be seen more in front of people, that more people are on social media, more people are on their computers, obviously using Zoom. They're using that. We're using that right now. So take advantage of that, leverage that, and knowing that people are online. And saying that, one of the things that I always really like to push is content has always been important, especially in the digital sphere, website, email, social media. Content's always been important, but I think it's more important now than ever. Four things, actually, there's a fifth one that I've come to add that I need to update this slide with, is anytime I'm thinking about content. And so by content, what I define that as is whether it's a blog article, a social media post, a graphic, a video, any of that stuff that would be put on a website or social media or in an email, that's content. So I look at four things, and actually five, that I value, I weigh it against. So is the content valuable? Is it informative? Is it positive? Is it relevant? And number five, I add to that now, is it accurate? If you can come in on one of those five tiers with your content, then you can trust that it will be received well. And what I mean by positive, I like to explain that one a little bit more. I don't mean positive as in living in a fantasy world. Positive in that it is uplifting or inspiring, acknowledging where we are, acknowledging that we are in a pandemic, continue now, acknowledging that we are in a social and racial justice upheaval in this country. All of those things, we can acknowledge those and then create content that lifts up, raises questions, inspires. So that's what I mean by positive content. There. So yes, take advantage of the fact that we have all of this online ability now. Another thing you can do is conduct like a mini content audit. In other words, since you have a little bit of time, hopefully, take a look and sit back and read your website again. Read how your emails are messaged, what wording, what phrasing are used, what blog posts are you doing, how do your presentations read, what videos are you doing, what infographics may you have created. So basically, you're just kind of maybe doing like a SWOT analysis or just a study of, okay, here's I haven't looked at my website in a while. Let me go look and see what it says, and just observe that. And what you're wanting to do is you're really wanting to create a consistency across all these platforms. That's branding. Branding is consistent messaging. And so you want to make sure that you're using the same words, that the words that are relevant to you or your business or your company, and it threads through all the different things that you're doing so that you begin or continue to present a consistent brand identity for you and your business. And so that would be something that can be done now. And then after you've done kind of the audit per se, then begin maybe looking at what needs to be updated on the website. When's the last time you changed the homepage text? When's the last time you changed photographs, your sliders, your headers, all of those things? I always recommend to always test your website on different mobile devices. There's constant updates that happen on the back end of browsers as well as websites that can cause things to break on a mobile device. So every now and then pick up your phone and browse your website on the phone, making sure that the call to actions are where they need to be, the most important relevant things are there on the mobile device, the pictures are lining up and resizing, because sometimes you may miss those, and then therefore, people are seeing things that aren't working on your website. Look at other digital options. So, right now with, limited access to public, think about the ways that your customers can reach out to you digitally. Are there additional online forms that you can create that can help your customers? Additional call to actions on the website? Can you add an online chat feature? Is there mobile text options? Can you, find a third-party software to do mobile text push notifications? Is there online payment or e-commerce options that you can begin allowing people to buy from you if you're in that type of environment? Is there free shipping, free delivery that you can offer, free pickup, all of those things, just to begin to look at how other companies are making their services accessible in this time, so that people can do business with you online. LED has announced a small business program to help businesses start up with e-commerce websites. If you go, I think it's lasmallbiz. You can look it up online. But basically, the state of Louisiana, as an initiative, has partnered with Shopify, I think it's Shopify, to be able to offer e-commerce websites to businesses. I'm actually doing a training next week for that, on how to use the platform for small businesses. So if you don't have a website, or if you don't have a e-commerce website, they're making it available because they want to increase the economy. They want to increase business in the state, recognizing what's happening. So that could be something that could be looked at as well. Number 5, keep calm and optimize on. And what I mean by that is, so search, right? Search terms. Everybody uses Google for search. And so look at what keywords are on your page. And what I mean by keyword density is whatever your top 3 to 5 phrases that you feel that people use to find you, make sure that you have a good representation of them on the website. One way to increase those is to write blog content that uses those keywords, but that is still informative, useful, relevant, accurate, and positive. And so what happens is, every time you make a blog post on your website, it adds more words to the website. Well, Google doesn't really care what your website looks like. Google just simply indexes the words that it finds on the back end code. So the more times you have words that are relevant to you and your company, the more likely you're to appear in their organic rankings higher than, say, a competitor that's not making blog entries. It's one of the big things that I push for blog entries, is not only for your users, but for Google indexing. You can also look at alt text. And so if you're familiar with how websites work, or if you use a WordPress or something like that, alt text is what the wording that you can put that labels a picture, because again, Google can't read a picture, but it reads the text. Another important part of alt text is that people with disabilities, whether hearing or visual or physical limitations, they have software and programs that they use to help them interpret websites. Well, one of the ways they're able to do that more successfully and more enriched experiences is when people name their photographs on a website. So for example, if this was a photo on my website, my alt text would be slide talking about updating website with keyword rich content. So the individual with the physical limitation or the visual limitation will actually be able to hear that or read that and understand what's happening on your website. So that's an important part too. So again, talking about the 5 points of the content. So now I'm going to get down into a little bit more particular things that can be done for, interesting, fun, informative. And it's exactly what, Candy, that you're doing here. You're interviewing people. You're bringing me on as someone to talk about this. And so anybody can do that. We have the tools nowadays with YouTube and Zoom, et cetera. So do interviews of your employees, do interviews with your customers, talking about, what their experiences going on, how they're doing, bringing experts on to your sphere of influence. I like using that phrase, sphere of influence. We all have that. We have a network of people that pay attention to us, that value what we put. Let's bring enriching, helpful, informative things to them, especially during times like this. You can talk about personal experience. You can talk about testimonials. You can use Zoom, Google Hang. I mean, it's endless what you can do with the software, so you can do those types of interviews. So again, doing interviews with individual, then you're able to save those, record those, post them on your YouTube, Facebook, etc. So you're creating valuable content. Plan webinars, another thing. I've seen a lot more webinars in the last months of just so many people doing things in their field. They answer questions that are facing their customers. They do things like this where they do a Q&A. They definitely putting together some helpful and useful information, and definitely make it about the customer. More than ever, we want it to make it about them. What are their pain points? What are they experiencing right now that you can help in your area of expertise or the line of work that you do, that can help them? And so really focus on what that can be, and make it valuable. Make videos, obviously, that's another thing, but that's what we're doing right now. Candy's doing a video. I know you got 3 of them already. And it's again, it's content that can be used later. How-to videos, instructional videos, training videos, sales, excuse me, thank you videos. I mean, the list of topics are unlimited is what you can do. And I mean, we all know people love watching videos. I mean, they sit on their phones watching, hours and hours of video content. So make sure that you're putting your business and your face in that pool of content there. And by recording videos and saving them on your YouTube page, and then cross promoting them across social media. Online reviews. Take some time and do a Google search for your business, not necessarily the .com, but type your name or type your business name in Google and look at what comes up. Because we have a lot of review sites out there that we know about, Yelp and Home Advisor and this, that, and the other, Google reviews. But there's a lot of those softwares that self-populate. They create their own accounts based on the information that's available online about you and your business. So the best thing to do is just Google that, literally Google that. And first of all, find out where they are, and then update those accounts. So if you have a Google business listing that you haven't claimed, you can click on that. There's a process you go through, and then that will give you access to your Google business account. Same with a Yelp account. So you really want to make sure and understand what softwares are out there that have reviews that you do. And then number 2, begin to push reviews. So once you know which ones you have, so if it's Facebook, Google, and Yelp, then you can really push customers and clients to leave reviews for you. I have a friend of mine, he does some amazing tile work. And of course, when the pandemic hit, all the work stopped, right? Because he was going into homes. And instead of panicking, I watched him do a ridiculous amount of review pushes, like ridiculous. Like I think he didn't even sleep, like 2 o'clock in the morning pushing reviews. Well, he's got wonderful amount of business now. And I talked to him about it, and I told him how brilliant it was that what he did was, instead of panicking, he really started to push video content, review content, asking people for reviews, and just pushing out all this wonderful information that has paid off for him in amazing ways. So again, it's something I saw happen, and it was amazing. So that. And then last but not least, during this time, is look at the data. And what I mean by data is, on your website, hopefully you have Google Analytics installed, it's free. If you're using a MailChimp or a Constant Contact, you have insights. You have the analytics that every time you send an email. Facebook has insights, Instagram has it. This is the time to look at that data, because what you're looking for, by being able to look across those couple there, you're going to notice, if you frequently do that weekly or monthly, you're going to notice trends that are behavior patterns for your customers, and then you're going to understand things that they're doing that they're doing, and they're looking at what pages they are on your website, what posts are they liking more, what posts are they sharing more, what posts are getting more reaction, what emails, subject lines are working. So again, it's just a power of data that we can use to leverage our messaging more, leverage the success of our business, and understand what people are consuming, et cetera. And and then last not least is, stay focused. I mean, it's uncertain. We don't know what's happening. We still don't know what's happening. I mean, we're just trying to figure this out daily, both personally and professionally. So, stay positive. One of the things that I read that really like resonated with me is be vulnerable. Let people know how you feeling about stuff. Again, that's what Candy, I think you alluded to in the beginning, was whenever I came into the round table originally, I'm not perfect. Perfect is not a goal. I'm real. I make mistakes. I screw up more often than not. I want people to know that. I want people to know that I'm real, that my business is real. We're going to mess up things. I have messed up more in 3 months than I have in 20 years. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna hide from it. But again, just be vulnerable, be honest about that. And what I mean in that is putting that out there on your video feeds and just kind of talking about it, not being afraid of showing behind the curtain. People, because trust me, you're not alone. And then last, and I think most important is, during these times, reach out to your support group, your friends, your network, your business relationships. Say, hey, this is scaring me. I don't know what to do right now. What are y'all doing? I have had some majorly wonderful conversations that have benefited me in those times of fear and panic and worry, because I reached out to someone else and they gave me a perspective that got me out of my head. So reach out as often as possible to get other people to help. And that's it. That's hopefully there was some good stuff in there that inspired some people. And I'll be happy to answer questions or I don't know.
Yes, yes. I mean, I know you said don't take notes, but I was sneaking in there taking a few. I was like, I don't want to forget that. So yeah, that was some great information and some real information, stuff that we can actually utilize and put into practice. And I guess this will kind of lead to my question, and then we're going to open it up for our guests if they want to ask a question. Everybody now it appears that everybody now is going to online. And so with so much information out there, it's almost like information overload. So what would be your advice, especially for newbies, that weren't embracing technology and watching the videos and participating in all of this? It's so much out there. So what would be your advice to keep us from being on a scavenger hunt of what's real and what's just fluff?
Well, I'm see if I understand as far as the content that we have available online,
Correct.
What's real stuff and what's not, Um, and then and there's two parts to that. I'm gonna give two answers to that. So the number one about the content is, that's the first thing I look at. Let's say if I'm going through my Facebook feed, and I got people from all walks of life in my Facebook friend. Sometimes I wonder how they got in there, but anyway, I digress. First thing I look at is the byline underneath that post, and if it is not of a source that I recognize as credible, I don't even bother with it. So look for credible sources. Now, what is a credible source? Well, that's everyone's personal opinion. But if I see something like bit.ly.so-and-so.myopinion.
Right.
Com, I'm like, no, that's not something that I'm going to do. So that's
Right.
number one,
Right.
is
Right.
look for credible sources. If you're looking for technology and, there's Inc. magazine, there's Fast Company magazine, there's, again, Urban League, all these organizations that are there are putting out legitimate content for you to educate yourself with. So that's the first thing. And then the second part of that question that I would look at a different way is if someone's just getting started, if they're just getting started, say with Facebook, or if they're just getting started with Instagram, or even with a website. What I've always said is go find some company that you relate to, that you like, that either you use, you respect, or you follow. And we're talking national size company, right? And see what they're doing. See how they're utilizing that one particular program. See how they're using Facebook, if that's what you want to start out with. How are they using Instagram? Because what I know to be true is they have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars of marketing research budget that they're using in their messaging. Why not learn from what they're doing when we, like I, don't have millions of dollars in marketing budget or time to research it, but I can go follow them. I've said this all along. When Twitter first came out, it took me 2 years to figure out what the heck that was about. I was like, I just don't get this. So finally,
Yeah.
I went and found some people some companies, the big global companies that I respected, and I just followed them. I created a dummy account, just okay, well, they're posting. And then before long, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, oh, this is how they're used. Same with Instagram. I don't use it the best in the world. There's some people that do it so much better than I do with consistency of color and images and messaging. But I understand it by just following other people and seeing how they're using it.
Right. Well, that's good advice to follow. And why reinvent the wheel if they're already
Why
using
reinvent the wheel, especially with limited time and resources? We got less time now than ever,
I know, right?
right?
That
And
is
I'm
so
the
true.
kids.
That is
Man,
so
God
true.
bless y'all with the kids.
That is so true. So we don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to have some more questions for you. I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to bring up our next presenter. And what I want to do after she does her overview, I want to bring Mr. Orhan back and to join Miss Kitty, and we are going to do a panel discussion. And we're going to pull some mystery questions that were given to me previously. Yeah, don't go anywhere. I want to refill your coffee for that one.
Yes, I will. Yes.
Yeah, and so we're gonna find out what our audience wanted to know, and we'll have a panel discussion. So we are not gonna prolong. We're gonna bring on Miss Kitty. I think you're still sharing your screen, Mr.
Yep.
Orhan.
Let me stop sharing now.
Okay.
Very good. All right. Perfect.
Great.
Now I can see yours. Thank you.
Yes. And so I'm gonna do her introduction bio, and we make sure that I have her ready to go. Hey, Miss Kitty.
Hey.
How are you? And so that's so funny. I said Miss Kitty. She's actually one of my best friends. so we're being all professional, and it is good to have. And I know this is a sidebar all the way. It is good to have friends and family supporting you. We and Mr. Orhan, I know you can identify with this. It's not common that friends and family are usually your number one supporters, but hats off to Miss Kitty. She truly is different and one of my number one supporters. So yay. She's leading by example. I'm going to read her bio. Kitty is an accomplished writer strategist. She has published 7 books, including 2 children's books. She has received certification from the IAO to write storybooks for children. Kitty is recognized with the National Poetry Association and is featured in the book titled Eternal Portrait Series. Kitty was selected as a suggested artist for songwriting and honorary mention for the Kristen lyrics with VH1 in 2005 and also in 2006. Take a journey with Kitty Arsenault as she brings us beyond the pages with her new book, Root Ready. She will be hosting different sessions at different locations and online. Maybe you can join her at one of them. Be on the lookout for the dates and times. So go ahead, Kitty, all yours. The floor is all yours. Before you came on, we just kind of had a little chit chat. We didn't do much, and we just kind of dived in. We understand that we're all, even though we've all been using technology, we're new to broadcasting now. We're new editors. We're all directors and behind the scenes. We're stage play writers now. Everybody is now an expert in all those fields. So we've had a couple of hiccups, but that's okay. We are
Hey, that's good.
through it.
That's learning processes, right?
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out why my name says Sally Test on here.
Well, okay, so we have
I had a problem getting on, but maybe that's why.
Well, that's a dummy log on that I created for those who are technically challenged.
That's me.
So I just forward that to everybody, like, okay, you can't get on, so here you are. And we'll figure it out later.
Okay, so if anybody asks you, what was that Sally said? That's me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So today I'm going to be talking to you about why you need a book for your business or having a book for your business. So I don't have a slide or anything. Candy did ask me about some stuff. Look, I have been like busy on top of busy, and I didn't have a chance to get to it, but whatever notes that you miss, if you're taking notes, whatever you miss, I'll make sure to send Candy an outline of what I said, so that way you can have everything. And if I'm on here again, I'll make sure to have my slide.
I might invite you back. No, you'll be back.
Okay, so like Mr. Orhan said, you know, when he was talking about the videos and stuff like that, that is exactly what I did. I started doing videos when the COVID came about. I started doing videos, and the video was about my book because I was doing Beyond the Pages before the COVID started. I was doing Beyond the Pages with a group of ladies, and so I was like, what am I going to do now? I can't meet with these ladies. So what am I going to do? And so I decided to do the videos and put the videos on YouTube. And that has been a great success. I am very well pleased with how that turned out. And then I got some requests to do a jump start to writing your first book. And so I did one video of that, and I have a few more to do. I'm not releasing all the information, of course, because I do have a book for that. This is the book for that. And I'm actually going to be doing an ebook because, you know, more people want an ebook version. And so I'm going to make that available probably in the next week or two. I'm going to make the PDF ebook available for that. But let's get into, and my phone just keeps sliding, but let's get into the entrepreneurship and a book, a business and a book, right? What every entrepreneur, what every business looks for is attention. And I'm not saying attention in a negative way, but because you're a business, because you want people to know about your product or your service, then you desire to get the attention that you need. And so in order to, and I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it, but this is, you know, an avenue to use, right? So to sell more books, I mean, to sell more services or to sell more products, you have to start with getting people's attention. And so one of the ways which I find is very under utilized with entrepreneurships is a book. And they're probably saying, why do I need a book? Why do I need a book? I'm going to give everybody my secret. You do not have to give all your secrets away. Look, I have this I want to show you. This is a book. Look how small this book is. This book is 25 pages. And believe me, he is not releasing all of the information, because what he wants you to do is to give him a call so that, you know, he can help you out and things like that. And so that's what you want to do. One of the things that a book is going to do for you as an entrepreneur is it's going to give you authority. It's going to give you credibility. And like we're doing Ask the Expert, it's going to give you expertise. Okay. A lot of people like to say that the book is a new business card, but I'm going to disagree with that, because everyone has a business card, but not everyone has a book. Okay. And it requires you to actually know something. It requires you to show your knowledge to the world. And like I said before, don't be taken aback that, you know, they're going to get the book and then they're not going to use my service, or they're going to get the book and, you know, whatever. But let me tell you about that. You give them just enough where they're going to say in the beginning, oh, I can do that. And then they're going to realize they don't have the time and they don't want to put forth the effort. And so who are they going to call? They're going to call you, because you're the one that has the book. You're the one that has the credibility. You're the one that has the expertise, right? Okay, and so the second thing is a book raises your visibility, right? So when a media outlet wants a comment on something, where do they go, right? They go to the expert. Just like Candy, she you know, wanted to get some comments on some stuff. She wanted to share some knowledge. So where does she go? She goes to the experts. And I'm with Mr. Orhan. You know, that's lightly used. I don't consider myself an expert, but I will wear the title for this if need be. But because a person wrote a book, you know, most likely than not, the media is going to call somebody that actually wrote the book opposed to somebody who didn't write the book, unless your name is just, you know, out there, out there, out there, out there. Another thing that it does, a book helps people to find you, right? And Mr. Orhan talked about Google. And so Google is a top ranked internet search engine. We know that, along with some other ones, followed by YouTube, right? And so Amazon is also another one. So we have Google, we have Amazon, and we have YouTube, right? And even more relevant to entrepreneurs, Amazon is the #1 search engine when looking for products and services. You know, and having a great book brings people to you. It lets people know exactly who you are, and it shows them that you can help them. And that's what you want your book to do. You want your book to show them that you can help them. And it's the best marketing tool you could ever use, to not just build your brand, but to actually attract your clients. Okay. And then #4, am I on #4? I think I'm on #4. A book helps people talk about you. Listen, people are talking about me with Ruth Reddy, like people that didn't even know me. I went and on Amazon, you can pull up like this map of where your book has gone. And I was just surprised because a lot of people that I know, or not even a lot, maybe a third of the people that I know actually purchased the book, and some of them probably purchased the book and just say, well, you know what, I'm going to just support Kitty with the book. They probably haven't even read it, and I'm okay with that. But I have people that I don't even know that are talking about me. They're buying the book. They're actually leaving reviews on Instagram. I recently got a review on Instagram from Christian Book Reviews or something like that. I'm still so excited that I don't even remember their name. But they left a review, and then they had the nerve to send me a private message, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is amazing. And so you'll be surprised that once you write this book, it gets people talking about you. And there is no better marketing than word of mouth. I find that word of mouth is one of the top marketing strategies. You know, you just get some people talking about you, because when someone you trust tells you something, you listen. Like, you know, oh, go to that restaurant, it was so good. Go to that movie, that was the best movie I've seen. Whenever somebody you trust recommends something to you, you usually go and use it. You know, like you know, I put some stuff out there about this tea that I've been drinking. I put some stuff out there about this soap I've been using, and people be like, oh, where can I order? Where can I get it from? So word of mouth is the best marketing strategy. And anything that helps other people talk about you and your business is the best marketing tool possible. So a book enables word of mouth better than almost anything, okay? And then book turns attention into money. I know y'all ears just sparked up when I said that, right? It turns attention into money. Attention is great, but what most entrepreneurs want is the money, okay? They don't just want the attention, they want the money. And the reason entrepreneurs basically want attention is because they can turn it into money, okay? You don't just want the attention just to be saying, oh, I got the attention. You want the attention so that it could turn into money, because you want to get more clients, because you want to sell more product, you know. And the book is a multi-purpose marketing tool that creates attention that you can turn into almost anything you want. You know, I'm going to make this concept even more simple. Okay, you have a book, the book equals attention, and the attention equals money. As simple as that. And no, it might not, you might not get all rich real quick or anything like that, but when done in the right form, it can generate some revenue for you. It can generate revenue when it comes to speaking engagements. It could generate revenue with the sales of the books. It can generate revenue with new clients. Okay, so there are so many ways for entrepreneurs to leverage the attention from a book into money. I'll run through some of the most common ways. A book can launch consulting and coaching companies. You know, if you see that now we have a lot of coaches, life coaches that are happening right now. And so with that, a lot of them have books, a lot of them have ebooks and things like that. And that's generating new clients, and that's generating revenue for them. A book can help you sell a physical product. Okay. A book can sell a video course or information product. Like you might have an information product, or you might have a video course or something like that. And so you want to use a book for that. And a book can promote done for you services. You know, there will be people that read your book. Like I mentioned earlier, they're going to read your book and they're going to be like, this is genius. I can do this myself. And even though they love the process, they're going to realize that their time is too valuable, like I mentioned before. And so they're going to hire you. Trust me, it has happened with me. Oh, yeah, I can do that. I can write this book. I can do that. And then they purchase the book, jumpstart to writing, and they go through it and they're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. This is easy. And then they're calling me up like, can we set up a meeting? Because I need to talk to you about some things. And so they called me because I offered the video, and they called me because I offered the book. Okay. And so that's what you want to do. And a book can help draw clients to you. Okay. A book can launch and promote paid community mastermind groups like this one right here. I mean, it's not paid yet, but I believe that Candy is looking forward to the day that she can have some people on and actually give them a love offering, or give them, you know, some kind of monetary gifting. I'm sure that is her heart in doing this. A book can launch workshops and group trainings. A book can get you speaking appearances, like I mentioned before. A book can promote a conference, and a book can save taxes through your write-offs. And with that, you're going to have to get with Candy for more information on that matter. I cannot tell you about the tax write-offs. That is Candy's field. And so that's basically the gist of what I have in reference to getting a book out there. And somebody might say, well, my business is okay, like Felicia. I don't know if she's on, I can't really see everybody, but Felicia might say, hey, look, I'm a cook. What kind of book you can do a small recipe book. You don't have to give out all your secrets. You can just give a small recipe book. And even though I might buy that book and I might try some of them recipes, girl, I'm going to call you, because I'm going to be like, I know this don't taste like Felicia's. So I'm going to call Felicia and say, hey, can you make me a pan of whatever, okay? And so just don't take for granted that whatever you're doing, as long as you have some information that the people need, whether they're going to use it or not, just to give them some information, you can definitely turn that into a book. And ebooks are real popular right now. And a lot of people are really into the ebooks mainly because they're cheaper, but that's okay that they're cheaper because you're still generating revenue from that. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you for inspiring us all to write our books. And so don't go anywhere. We're going to have our panel discussion. And so what I want to do real quick, I want to bring you guys to Kitty's blog. It's through her website, and she's going to put her website in the comment. And then I think Mr. Orhan and Felicia, you both guys have some comments in the chat, so you may want to check those out while I bring our audience over to your blog. So let me get there.
I got a question. That was so inspiring. So I've been wrestling with this concept of book, and I think you may have pushed the needle where it needed to be. So thank you for that. publishing a book, because I'm all about the hard copy, right? Or not hard copy, but not hard
Yeah, the
cover. The
paperback
copy
or something
itself.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. Where did you find to, I always say ask the expert. So where would you recommend you published your book? Where did you go to get that physical book published? Where did you start?
So years ago, I actually went through a publishing company, and because I didn't have a lot of information, you're just starting out and you want to, and I didn't really have anybody to ask, because actually I didn't know anybody personally that wrote a book. Okay.
Mhm.
And so I went out there with a publishing company, and I tell you, look, I got screwed all kind of
Right.
ways,
Right, I
because
bet.
you don't own the rights to your you don't really own the rights to your book. And then sometimes they can tell you how to write it and what they're looking for and stuff like that. And so you might have to add some stuff and take some stuff away. And now you're not really feeling it, right? And so lately I've been doing Amazon. Number one, because it doesn't cost you a thing. And because they offer different marketing things, out there that you can do that really
Wow.
is minimal cost. And with that, you own all the rights to it. If you decide that, oh, you know what, I want to add some more to the book, you don't have to do a whole new book. You can just take and edit the book that's already out there, and
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Okay.
and keep it going. You do have to do your own cover and stuff like that. But the good thing about that is you can actually have the cover that you desire, opposed to if you're dealing with a publishing company. They're basically saying, here's the two covers and you choose one. And you're like, I don't like either one of them,
Oh,
and it's like, yeah, but choose one. Um, there are some self-publishing companies that you can, they'll do everything for you, like put the book together and things like that, and then they'll put them on multiple sites.
okay.
But then you are required to buy so many of the books yourself. Where with Amazon, I can buy 10 if I want, or I can buy 50 if I want. I'm not required to buy 50 or 100 books.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And,
right now,
and will Amazon publish it for me too?
huh?
Print it? I mean, will Amazon print the book as well or not?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Once you put it out there and people order it,
Huh?
they send it directly to them, or you can order some under your author's
Ah,
thing.
okay.
You can order it, and they'll send you some printed copies. I like the idea that they send you a proof copy.
Hmm.
You can order a proof copy, and of course they're going to put a thing across the cover so that you can't resell that one. But of course,
Yeah,
like I said,
exactly.
if you want 10, if your budget is for 10 books, then you can get 10 books, opposed to the publishing company telling you you have to order 50
Hmm.
of the books or 100 of the books, and that might not be in your budget.
Well, thank you for sharing. I never would have thought. Okay. All right. Now I just
Right,
got to write
good
something.
information. And so basically Kitty is eliminating all of our excuses. Like,
That's
first it
it.
was we didn't have the time, then it was we didn't have the money. And so now there's no excuse. All of us should have a book. Yeah. So I want to bring everybody's attention to the screen. This is Kitty's blog.
Oh, nice.
And and I believe you can subscribe to this on YouTube as well, but this is on her website, kittysbookshelf.com. And she has a blog session, and she talks about all sorts of topics that you see, staying healthy with COVID. She even has an issue on the Black Lives Matter. I'm no expert. Isn't that funny? She's on Ask the Expert, and she has a blog, and that was from August of last year. So hey, that's so funny. So yeah, she's an expert today. I'm gonna move that slide for somebody sees it. And, but what is funny to me, I'm gonna go to wait. I think I'm going the wrong way. I want to show one that you did in March of this year, prior to the fallout. Your topic was trust God, and then in February it was visions and dreams. And then the pandemic just blew up. And so hey, you all should go back and read these. I've read them. I follow her, of course, and you can subscribe to her email list and get updates as she puts out some new information. So and it was so true what she said. We now everybody's in information. They like e-reading. I'm like Mr. Orhan. I want a paper book that I can feel. I want to highlight in it. So I'm a little old school, but you know,
Well,
hey.
that's me too. That's me too. I want my paper, you know.
Yeah.
I want to sign my name on it, right? I want to sign the inside cover for friends, and you know, I want to, you know,
Right. I had a young lady.
I'm living my best life. I mean, I want to sign my own name in my book.
I had a young lady to message me on Instagram and ask, could we do a book swap? And I was like, sure, we can do a book swap. And she says, I said, I like paper because I like to touch it. I like, you know, and she says, well, I was going to send you an ebook. And I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Right.
They don't get it, especially, you know, some of the younger generation. I feel for them. It's like holding paper in their hand is like holding something ancient because they're also tech savvy.
Right. You know, it's interesting you say that because I sometimes my brain shows up an hour later. So I have a friend of mine who wrote a book about her experiences in the civil rights movement from a white woman's perspective in the South. She just published the book. She sees the work that I do in racial and social justice, and we've been friends, you know, with long distance friends through social media. I realize now the strategy, she sent me a copy of her book to read and review. Well, what she's doing is she's getting her message out there, sending it to me, right? And so my sphere of influence, I'm going to read the book. And if I like the book, I'm going to promote the book at the cost of her sending me a book. So I think it's brilliant.
Right.
And you writing her a review because she needs that written review.
Yes.
Right. And I tell you, books are great gifts. And it's an attention getter. People like books on their bookshelves, and at some point we pray that they'll open it and read it. But it's a really good way to say, hey, I'm in business and I want to give you something. We know that our clients love free things. We know that our clients love discounts. So this would be a great avenue for us to do that. So I'm going to go ahead with our mystery question.
Uh-oh.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I trust that.
Now you know who you got on this, so you better be careful of the question because I'll answer it.
I know, right? I might have to just, you know.
I mean, them Urban League laws, I broke a lot of them rules on that facilitation, but they just kind of looked the other way. So.
Yeah, they were like, we didn't hear that. We didn't hear that.
Y'all brought
all right, so Mr. Orhan, you're gonna pick either 1, 2, or 3 for your mystery question.
I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna pick the middle one, please.
All right, 2. Okay, this is easy for you. Is it insulting to solicit sales during the pandemic?
I think it's how you come at it. I can give you an example. And so I'm in a networking group, and there's this one individual who is that salesperson. Just kind of rolls in, bull in the china cabinet, just it's offensive. It truly is. And I've watched how other people react to his process and the way he does it. And then on the other side, I can watch someone else who vulnerably, genuinely, and authentically ask for business. And you almost want to make up something to help them because of how they come at it. So I think the answer to that question is how your delivery, what your intention is, is it purposeful? You know, how are you coming at this? Are you respectful? Are you acknowledging what's happening? So I think that's it could be, just depends on your come from.
Right. So that's a good question because that was kind of like, do I do an email blast about this great sale I'm having? But you know, so that kind of helps. It's the way that we come at it because people now are shopping more than ever.
Yes.
My husband asked me the other day. He said, "Wait a minute, what are you ordering? Like the UPS truck is coming," and I had to say, "Well, honey, some of this stuff is free." You know, so I don't know if he bought it.
Don't worry, babe.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I'll add one more thing to that is, you know, so right now there's so much awareness on Black-owned businesses and spending money with Black-owned businesses. So if you're going to ask for something, acknowledge that. If that's who your audience is, acknowledge saying, I am a woman Black-owned business, and here's what I'm offering. Because, you know, the conversations that we're having now more than ever are talking about investing money in Black-owned businesses to help wealth and access and resources. So again, putting it out there, it's what's going on. Don't be afraid of addressing the narrative. Unless you just don't agree with it, and that's fine. You got a category over there. But again,
Right.
I think it's important to speak to the truth that's going on.
Right, right. And so the next question is going to be, and that's some good information. Put it out there. Hey, I can't help but be who I am. It's nothing I'm gonna. I mean, I'm Black. I'm a female. I do have product. Hey, support me. You know, hey. And we kind of mentioned that in class once before too. And so I'm gonna come back to that. I just made a mental note. I'm gonna come back and ask you a question in our panel discussion. Okay, Kitty, 1 or 3?
3.
Okay, great. Right up on our subject. Black Lives Matter. Do you think 20 years from now, everybody is going to have a Black Lives Matter book, and why?
Oh, wow. I don't know if everybody's going to have it, but you're going to have a whole lot of Black Lives Matter books. Some of them are probably in print right now as we speak, whether it's going to be giving us more history on things that is not already in the history books, whether it's telling their own stories about what has happened to them in their lives in reference to the racism and the systemic racism and things like that. I believe that there are going to be books about, you know, the ones that have lost their lives. Maybe some family members or something are going to write some books. But I think there's going to be a different array of books on Black Lives Matter and My Life Matters and, you know, systemic racism and, you know, racism as a whole, especially because there is so much history that is not in the history books. So much history that our young people don't know about, some history that our older people don't know about. Shoot, I'm still learning some stuff like, wow, really? And so I think there's gonna be a good bit of books out there.
Right, right. And I know, I noticed for Juneteenth, I know we kind of sidebar, I know a lot of people, look, we're business owners, but we're human first. And so a lot of the things that are going on in our community, we don't want to be so detached from our community, like you said, be that salesperson selling all this stuff and not being aware of the time. So we, this is a safe place, ask the experts, where we can embrace social issues and we can talk about it, because those things do affect ourselves. They do affect how we do business. They affect how we interact with our clients, because we got to remember our community are those that we sell to. And so if we're selling products to a community and then we don't know what's going on, that would come off as offensive, in my opinion.
Right.
I know some, I haven't really put out my official Black Lives Matter email. I mean, I was getting emails and I was like, I've never seen y'all do anything about Black. I'm like, well, who is this company? And, you know, and so, but then there were some companies that sent the email out and I embraced it because I felt that it was genuine. So with that being said, like you said, there's going to be so many books about Black Lives Matter. Business owners are going to be talking about it. There's a big controversy around it. Mr. Orhan, I know that you're doing some community service work, meeting with men, talking to them about the social injustice on both sides, you know, whether they're Caucasian or African American. I know that you're doing that work, you're having those conversations. So I guess my question for you all would be, how as business owners, this would be your personal opinion, your preference, how as business owners should we approach this? And for Kitty, I guess that would be in print and social media, how we're writing, how our writing come across, and for Mr. Orhan, how would that affect our marketing strategy? Okay.
Well, I did put a thing, I did do a blog post about it, basically coming from the way I felt about it, you know, whatever was experienced on my end in reference to the Black Lives Matter, and, you know, just to give some, you know, I didn't get into the whole, you know, thing about, you know, white people being wrong and treating us this way and that way. I just kind of talked about how all of this has been, what all of this has been for me and how it made me feel and my thought patterns on it, and maybe some things that was experienced where I faced racism or my husband faced racism or stuff, something like that. I didn't get too deep with it because, a lot of that stuff is still kind of tender. And so I had to be very careful with how I came across. So it wasn't so much like point the finger as much as it was like from the heart.
That's
Right.
powerful. That is very powerful.
Mr. O'Hearn?
One of the things that came across that I thought of when Kitty was talking was, youth empowerment with youth, and just knowing that I can write a book free on Amazon. I want to make sure that the youth that I know that's possible, because I know some of these young people have some powerful stories to talk about. And not only does that lift them up, but it inspires others around them to know that they have a story too, that they have a voice and their voice matters. And to know, I mean, I can't think of anything more exciting than to say that I've got even a Kindle book on Amazon that I don't have to pay for, but that can be part of my story or my journey. So that really stood out to me for that. And that really didn't answer the question, but that inspired me to know that. So to spread the word, to kids and stuff, because I've got some amazing young people that approach me on the side and have conversations because of how vocal I am on where I stand on racial constructs in America. And I'm going to continue to do it. This past weekend for the 4th of July, a young 22-year-old man who I'm very close to, let's just say, comes from a prejudiced background and a prejudiced family and a prejudiced atmosphere, right? Racially prejudiced. He asked me some questions about things, what I thought about monuments, and that led to a 2-day discussion that I left him with some powerful questions that opened his mind up. Had I not been posting that, because he loves and trusts me, that he asked these questions that are with the stuff that I'm putting out there totally contradicts everything he's exposed to as a young white male in North Louisiana. But that's how it happens. And so that validated to me to know what my power is and my voice in my whiteness and sharing these messages. And so I'm not really answering the question, but
right. Right.
What was the question?
That's okay. That's okay. Trust me, all the information is needed. I just want to make sure that as business owners that we don't get into, and I guess Kitty, you could kind of piggyback off of this, that fear of if I don't say something, this half of my clients are going to be like, I don't care. If I do say something, this other half of my clients are going to say that I'm controversial and they're not going to patronize me. So what would be your take on that?
I'm not really big on, because I'm like this here, what God has for you, God has for you. And so if some people drop off because I didn't address the issue the way they wanted me to address the issue, then I believe that God is going to replenish the followers or the clients or, the people that I'm in business with. I just believe that God will replenish that, for me. You may not want to say anything, and that is fine. Now, if your clients have a problem with that, maybe we can have a one-on-one conversation, but at this moment, I just, don't have the words to put out there for the public to see. Oh, look.
I know, I had somebody show up at my door. Look how cute. You just never know who shows up at my door.
Kids don't care. They don't care what you're doing. And if you guys notice, it's my son. He's texting me. I'm like, dude, it's 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Why are you texting me? They don't care.
But yeah, I mean, you don't have to put something out there just because everything is going on right now. It's just like saying, go protest. I mean, I haven't been out there to protest. And, I mean, I'm not going to say I have my reasons or don't have my reasons. It's just I haven't been out there to protest. But I have shown in some other ways that, of course, I support my Black people. I mean, I can't help but support them. I'm Black. So.
Well, I don't know. Fox News got a couple of them that don't, but that's all right. They found one or two.
It's a couple of them I just can't support, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. What
Well,
about
you
quality
know,
services, Mr. Orhan? A lot of people, of course, that's what anything. I don't care what the social issue is. It could be something else. It could be women's rights. It could be gay rights. It could be cats and dog rights. It could be whatever. And whenever there's a movement, there's going to be a bandwagon of people that are going to start gravitating to that for marketing dollars. So, what would be a great exposure tool? Because now everybody's saying, hey, I'm with the movement, come buy my product. So what is a great exposure tool for
Well,
marketing?
yeah, and I'm glad you said that. Just know it for what it is. You know, the brands that came out in support, it's fine to send out a public service announcement supporting Black Lives Matter, but it's up to us as consumers to follow that brand and find out where their money's being spent, what organizations are they supporting, what are they doing, and because trust me, it's about money. I mean, it's about money and recognizing money and recognizing social trends that are going on now. So that's great. Put it out there. But don't think that I'm not going to continue to watch and be aware of where my money goes and where you're spending the money I give you. And I think that's an important part of it. And if you're going to put it out there, just all I got to say is believe in it and stand behind it. And otherwise, just don't. It's better just not to say anything if it's not something that's truthful or authentic, because you're going to be exposed if it's a falsity. You're going to be exposed.
Right, right. In this day and time with technology, we are so quick on that finger. I have people, I say kids, but they're young adults. They're 20 and 24, so they're not kids, I guess. They're my kids, whatever. I'll get ready to go get something to eat, and they'll say, "Oh, you can't go there because they're not supporting the movement." I'm like, "How did you know that?" Well, I said they put out a statement. They like, "No, Mama, go back to 2008 and read." I'm like, I just want to go get a burger. Can I just go get the food and come back and then we can have this discussion? But the younger
you
generation,
can't deny, or you can, but just know that you're denying it, right? I mean,
right, right. It's like, okay, I have to now consult with them. They're the experts on where we can eat. So it's very important that we are conscious of what's going on. Like Kitty said, if we choose to protest or not protest is our personal choice. But we do need to be aware of what is available to us, what is not available to us, do the research. And as the digital age, we have the tendency to not want to research. And so I behoove all of my audience, whether this is the replay or if you're on here live, take the time. This is your money.
yes.
Let it go where you desire for it to go. And if you don't see the results that you want, create the result. And so at the AK Legacy Foundation, I want to talk about that really quick, and then we're going to let you guys go because I truly appreciate your time. The AK Legacy is the platform that is supporting this Ask the Expert. It is a foundation that I founded, and it's on the basis of helping us together to do things. And a lot of times we'll get together to help people overcome sickness. We'll get together to help people overcome divorces, you name it, all the personal things. But when it comes to business, where do we go for support? And so we put together the AK Legacy Foundation. It is something I've been doing for years, but I was, matter of fact, one of my counterparts in the UL roundtable, Courtney Elsie, she came, she explained to me, she said, all the work that you're doing, it actually is a nonprofit. And she said, I'm going to show you how to structure that. And so in business settings, we hardly ever get where we get support, where we get free information or we get guidance or advice that doesn't come with a high ticketed price. And so we put together the AK Legacy Foundation. And in that, we bring forth things like this, where we educate our clients. We bring them information that they typically would have to pay for. This podcast is at no cost. We do ask that everyone would contribute to the foundation financially. And of course, we always want volunteers, but we are soliciting your monetary donations. We have a few events coming up. We help women we help businesses that are women owned. We help them get things set. A lot of times we find that a lot of stay-at-home moms or people that are in career jobs want to change. They want to get into entrepreneurship, but they don't really know how. So the AK Legacy Foundation, we get together, we show them the steps, we guide them, we lead them. We also have YES, which And let me pause for a second. Miss Kitty Arsenault, she actually sits on our board at the AK Legacy Foundation. So she is really entwined. She's really into this, and she is really supporting the cause. And at the AK Legacy Foundation, we have a session just for youth. We have an upcoming youth business summit. I keep wanting to say teens because to me they're all teens, but the age is from 7 to 17. And we're going to teach them how to do business. We're going to teach them marketing. So we're going to be looking for donations as well as volunteers, mentors, advice, tips, suggestions, anything that you guys can do to help us with these. And a lot of these youth already have businesses. And so we're going to help cultivate them, help them get their brand out. Some need a website. Some may need help packaging for their product. And they have great things. And so we want to help them succeed. And so giving monetarily to the AK Legacy Foundation gives us an opportunity to do that. We also have the MED program, which is for our business owners, whether you're a male, woman, tall, short, it doesn't matter. In that, we do business development. That's where we educate you. You have a topic that you want to learn more about, we'll get the information to you. If you want to learn how to be a chef, if you want to learn how to be a seamstress, whatever the case may be, we can get those tools and resources to you. So go on the website, the aklegacyfoundation.org, and check it out. Kind of comb through it, read it. If you have any questions about it, please call me, email me, leave us follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You know, we're everywhere. Follow us and find out what it is that we're doing. We're just trying to make this life just a little bit tad better. Just doing our little part in this big old world. And so I really would like for everyone to embrace it. And every month we have a featured organization. So if you have a nonprofit and you would like to be featured, let us know. This month for July, we're featuring Saul's Light. It is an organization in New Orleans. For the month of August, we will be doing Handbags of Hope. And then, of course, we have the Youth Business Summit here. So get in, go on the website, read about it, see where you can contribute, whether it's monetary or if it's for donations. And I also want to bring everybody attention. I'm kind of scrolling up really fast. If you're an expert and you would like to come on our show, this is the tab that you would go and complete and fill out, and we'll be glad to bring you on. It's all about paying it forward. We don't believe in giving it back because I didn't take anything to give back. So we're gonna pay it. We're gonna pay it forward. And we're going to believe that as you sow into our communities, you know, God is just going to bless you. People are going to gravitate to you. Mr. Orhan, I'm sure that people have marketing questions, business owners that are on here watching live, we're going to watch the replay. They're going to want to reach out to you to find out, hey, how can we get a nice headshot like you had? You know, your picture was phenomenal. You know, I'm gonna put this picture back up here, kid. We got to put this picture back. I don't know if you saw it earlier. And for anybody that missed it, I'm going to put it back up here. I was like, that is not the guy that was in class. I mean, I got to see this. I have got to put this up here. We're going to use a conversation piece before we leave. So we're going to put that up here. Look at that picture. And it looks retro and it looks like I'm important. I know what I'm talking about. I love it. And then he doesn't have the glasses on. So yeah, okay. Just had to pick on you real quick. So, but anyway, so we're gonna bring it. Is he, you know, so he cleans up really well. So anyway, so we all do. So what I want to do at this last moment is give you guys an opportunity to give us any closing comments, anything that you would like to leave with the audience. Of course, our audience is mainly business owners, entrepreneurs. Some are startup businesses. Some have been in business, like myself. I've been in business 21 years. And so just kind of leave our audience with some final closing remarks during this time. What would be one piece of advice that you would give them in regards to their business? And Kitty, you can go first. Ladies, go first.
Okay, I did want to say this because I realized that I didn't say it before, but if you find it challenging to write a book and you have somebody that's in the same field as you, get with somebody that's like-minded, and then y'all can co-author a book together. That's always great. Because regardless of how it sells, your name is still on there. I think, Candy, you're a part of a co-authored book, and it doesn't have to just be one other person. It could be multiple people. And so that can add a whole lot of value to the book, you know, having a co-author or co-authors, because what might be a struggle for you to complete by yourself can be an enjoyable partnership that produces a book that can help more readers. So, you know, if you're stuck, but you know somebody else in that same field, or you know somebody else that can add on, like Mr. Orhan was saying about, you know, some young people, you know, it might not, you might can do a collaboration book with them, you know, with their different views and their different inputs about some things. So I would say that if anybody finds it challenging, you know, like I said, the book I showed you is only 25 pages. You know, your book doesn't have to be 100 pages. And so just think about that, you know, when you're doing your book and stuff like that. Now, there may be some requirements with some publishing companies, and there may be some requirements with Amazon about how many pages, but there's still some ways around a lot of that stuff. So I'm just gonna say, you know, don't hesitate. You know,
Right.
just go ahead and write the book. Call me, I'll help you.
Right, that's what I was just getting ready to say. How about we just call you and set up something, do our consultation. And so go to her website, set up a consultation. It's booked by give us your website before I mess it up.
kittiesbookshelf.com.
Right, because I just have your cell phone
on
number.
the shelf.
Yeah, 'cause I just call you, so I need to learn your website. I'm sorry. All right, Mr. Orhan, your final words for our listening audience.
You know, I would just say, make it real, you know, just make it real, make it align with who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, put that out in the front of it, and put that in the front of the messaging, and stand behind it. And it does pay off. Being authentic and true to yourself and what you believe does pay off, especially when it aligns with good overall. So just do it, literally.
Amen to that. So I am going to just give you guys a little snippet about who I am and what I do. I'm still a work in progress when it comes to my elevator pitch. But what I do, aside from the AK Legacy Foundation, I did tell you guys about all the services that we offer there. And if you want more information, you can go to our website for that. But in my for-profit business, which is Martin Business Solution, I offer tax preparation, bookkeeping services, and business development. And what that looks like right now, we have just a little over a week left to file before the tax deadline. And so right now, this is still tax season for me. The pandemic has certainly extended that time unfavorably. And so my hearts and prayers are with all the friends and all the family members, those that I don't know across the globe that are watching this video. If you have any loved ones that you lost due to this pandemic, our hearts are certainly with you. And you have our condolences. If you have any financial questions, reach out to me. There's a lot of things people had to prepare for unexpectedly that they didn't even know that they would have to be planning for during this time. I have a really good friend who just lost her husband in March due to the, he died from COVID. And she is just having to start all over with everything. And he generally handled the finances. And so things like that, if you have any financial challenges, reach out to us. If it's not something that we can do in our Martin Business Solution, we will definitely refer you over to the AK Legacy Foundation. We are in this together to help you guys when it comes to social injustice. We have some paralegals that we can refer. We have some attorneys that work with us. Anything, any issue, whether it has to do with finances or not, Martin Business Solution is here to help you. If it's on a personal level, just reach out to me offline. I'll find someone there. I am blessed to say that I have so many professional colleagues that I co-labor with, and they're not all in finances. I have some that are food nutritionists. If you need to change your diet, if you need to, if you want to save your marriage, whatever, if you want to social distance from your spouse or your significant other, whatever.
We want to divorce your marriage. One of
Yeah,
the ones.
I even have one for that, but you know, you are too funny. Y'all, Orhan has been. That's a whole nother topic. We'll talk about that another time. But if you guys need any services, whether we offer them directly or indirectly, just reach out to us and we will partner you with the right people. We'll give you some options, some choices. And so we truly believe that Ask the Experts is not just about getting professional information, but it is also to help you grow in your professional life, in your personal life as well. So I thank everyone for being on here. I pray that you all have a blessed day. And thank you for bearing with my technical difficulties at the beginning, but that's okay. Look, that's okay. I'm not the expert in IT.
Thank you so much, Candy. Thank you so much.
Thank
Kitty,
you.
nice to meet you. I look forward to us getting to know each other more.
And don't worry, you guys will be back. I want you guys back in the fall when the weather changes and, you know, calmness come up. I'm gonna have you guys back.
Sounds wonderful.
All right, thank you. You all have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.